well, it just wasn't meant to be, was it? I'm not starting this video with Guten Tag as I maybe wanted to. We just fell a little bit short against the Germans on Wednesday. But the negativity I've seen is something I'm going to be talking about on this video because I think it's absolutely ridiculous. Going to touch a little bit on maybe a couple of players that their form is a little bit out of sorts, and obviously injuries are a bit of a concern in what feels like an injury merry-go-round. 1 minute we've got a fully fit squad, raring to go in all competitions. The other minute we're looking a little bit short. There's plenty to talk about before we even think about that Wolves game on Saturday. It's the last word, blatantly, in the pissing down rain once again. So if you're curious, Newcastle fans, do us a favour and make sure you stick around. Welcome back to Black and White Banter, you lovely Newcastle fans. I would say I hope you're having a cracking week. It probably would have been a little bit better if the result had gone in our favour on Wednesday. But still plenty of reasons to be positive. So as we approach the weekend, as we approach another Premier League match, as we approach an away tie at Man United, and as we approach a second game against the Germans for a bit of revenge in a couple of weeks' time, life still isn't too bad to be a Newcastle fan. But before we get into any of the points from Wednesday, do us a little favour, Newcastle fans, give us a little likey loo, whack that subscribe. Even that little like button goes a very, very long way sometimes. To me, walking around in the piss and rain like this, in Sir Bobby Robson way, that's where I'm at again, it just makes it a little bit more worth it because this video might go to a couple more people. So this is the last word. I do like to do these on the regular, sometimes a little bit more belatedly, but it also gives me a little bit more time to absorb what I've seen on social media, analyse the match a little bit more, and just talk about things in a little bit more detail. So I just mentioned earlier that there's still plenty of reasons to be rosy in the garden, but I tell you what I'm absolutely sick to the back teeth of is the reaction I've seen since Wednesday. I've read that we were schooled. I've read that we were taught a lesson. I've read that we were given a reality check across YouTube, across journalists, across social media. Absolute load of rubbish. I tell you what, if that is a performance that is us being schooled and given a lesson where we've gone toe-to-toe with a team, one of the best in German football, one of the most prestigious, who are unbeaten in the Bundesliga, we've come away from that cursing our luck because the width of a crossbar has stopped us from at least getting a point in that match, and we've also missed a couple of cities in the process. Yes, Newcastle were not at their best on Wednesday. We know that. And I tell you what, if anything, I'm more positive going into that away game over there, because if that's us not at our best, it gets the Germans celebrating like hell at the full-time whistle because they know they've escaped with that win. And they were. The manager was celebrating like hell because they were under the cosh in that second half. They were penned in, they could do very little about it, and they just absorbed that pressure, and they did. They got lucky. On another day, Callum Wilson's header, which was so well timed, just a glance, if that's half a yard lower, that's crossbarring in, and we're all going absolutely berserk, and who knows, we might have gone on to win the match. And yes, first half, Dortmund were the better team. I said that on my match vlog. They had chances. We were under the cosh. Nick Pope sorted us out a couple of times. But for people to be saying that was a performance, a reality check, honestly, what I call a reality check and being schooled is going to Leicester under Steve Bruce and getting battered 5-0, even under Eddie Howe. When we went to Tottenham, I remember in his first season and got beat 5-1. When Shea scored the free kick for us, that was getting schooled. The Brighton performance more recently, that was getting schooled because that was one of the worst performances I've seen under Eddie Howe. What I saw on Wednesday was a team really giving it a go when things didn't work in our favour. You know, we got Isak out early on. That affected the atmosphere a little bit. That affected our flow. I said going into the match that Matt Hummels would have preferred playing against Callum Wilson over Isak because he's a 34-year-old man. And I think so it proved a little bit. Yes, Callum Wilson could have scored a couple of goals on another day, but generally speaking, I thought it worked into his favour. But I still thought we were really, really good for a point, and you wouldn't have said that was a bad result. And the fact that this is our first Champions League campaign, we've never played in the competition before, and we are going toe-to-toe with a team like Dortmund at St James's Park. 1 win, 1 loss and 1 draw. and people are saying, you know, literally the reaction since that result. Yes, we've been very good lately. Yes, we could have been better. But some Newcastle fans just need to get in the bin, in my opinion. They really, really do. It's really frustrating that such a wave and a cloud of negativity can come over from one narrow 1-0 defeat against Borussia Dortmund. Holy Christ, I must have been watching a different game. So yeah, if you're one of them fans watching this video who thought that was absolutely shite on Wednesday, then we must have been watching different games through a different lens. I fully understand expectations change. I fully understand that as we grow and as our team gets better, we aren't just happy with mediocre results. But that was not a mediocre performance or a mediocre result. Bring on the away game, I say, because we might be firing on all cylinders regardless of injuries, and we might go there and give them a really, really good go. So that's going to be my first point. Some of the reactions since, I'm going to keep ranting about it because it does my nut in. Next talking point for me has got to be Mr. Joelinton. Now, I said we weren't really at it in midfield. I don't think we were. I don't think Sean Longstaff put in a performance like what we've seen recently. I don't think Bruno, and when Bruno's not in the mood from an attacking point of view, I'm never sure whether this Newcastle team is in the mood neither. And we weren't. We never really got going in midfield. They overran us as they attacked. But Joelinton, for me, if we go back a little bit further, and I mean from the start of the season, with the injury in the middle, he's not the same player this season. And I say that with a heavy heart because over a year now, he's been my favourite Newcastle player. Absolutely love the man. His story, his aggression, his bursting runs, his energy, just his story, how we came from basically like one of our biggest flops to one of our most improved players. I love everything about him, but we're not getting that from him at the moment. And without that, when he's in the team at the moment, we're not playing with one less man. I'm not going to go that far. But the Joelinton we're seeing right now, he's not making them runs down the left-hand side. His quality in the final third's not there. He's a little bit slow to make a decision. And is he, he's coming back from injury, and that's why I was a little bit concerned about him being in the team. Palace, on Saturday, I just thought he did okay. He's going to get a little bit sharper with that injury. He's still been in the Brazil squad, but I'm just not sure. I haven't been sure since the start of the season on what's maybe up with him. Is he now playing a little bit more of a reserved role? I'm not sure. I can't quite pinpoint. It's almost like Bruno has passed over that mantle of a little bit of an indifferent form, like what Bruno had earlier in the season. So I'm not too sure why it's not working for him, and I hope that improves with the more match time he gets, because I want him to keep improving. But we'll see. We'll see how he does at Wolves on Saturday. I'm not putting any blame by any means on Joelinton on Wednesday. I just thought we're not seeing that aggression that's seeing him win balls first, charge into the box, break up play. He's going through games a little bit quieter, and that's across 6 matches he's played this season, 5 matches. So yeah, let me know your thoughts in the comments. Maybe that's a really unpopular opinion of mine and not one I want to be making, but it's just an observation that maybe needs to be looked at a little bit closer to see whether he does pick up a little bit more. From me, the biggest concern after Wednesday has got to be those injuries, and I feel like I'm talking about them all the time because it's a merry-go-round. 1 minute everybody's fit again and we've got a really good level of squad depth. Another minute we get 2 or 3 injuries and there's problems. It's frustrating, and Jacob Murphy, my heart is breaking for the guy. We don't know whether he's going to be able to play on with his shoulder injury. Some players do, but after getting 2 assists and a goal against Palace on Saturday, coming on then having to go straight off, suddenly now we are looking short. Tonali's obviously out for 10 months. Elliot Anderson, I'm hearing, is going to be out for about 8 weeks, which is a loss because he's looked very, very solid, if not maybe better than Joelinton in that midfield 3 this season when he's played. So that's a huge loss. And again, I'm heartbroken for him because he's starting to get some momentum as one of our youngsters. Isak could be out a couple of weeks, and that's the biggest one because we know Callum Wilson is made of glass when he wants to be. Not so much lately, but for him to be almost playing every minute as a striker, because we don't have even any other options coming through the academy, is a concern. And not only that, Isak is such a good footballer with his link up, with his skill, that it's a huge loss. And look at his goal record, Isak, so far this season. He was storming them charts and chasing Haaland. So suddenly now, you've got Botman still not back, but in that midfield in particular, it's so nice to see Joe Willock back, even just for his chant. Joe Willock, yo. I love the Joe Willock chant. He came from Arsenal because he wanted a chant. It's one of the best. I cannot wait to hear that in the stands again. But generally speaking, It's good timing that he's back. I hope Joelinton gets a little bit more up to speed. But you're looking at Man United away in the Cup, Dortmund away, Paris Saint-Germain away, Premier League matches between. And if we got another 1 or 2 injuries, we are screwed. And I wouldn't be surprised for the short term where the Eddie Howe's team almost picks itself. Apart from fullbacks like Livramento and Hall, maybe, for the Man United Carabao Cup game, we're looking stretched again. And I would hate to think that our season is derailed after we've already seen what we're capable of because of injuries. That's the frustrating thing, and we'll see how we deal with that. But you know, every team's going to go through it. You kind of cry over injuries. It's like crying over spilt milk, like the age-old expression. But it's a merry-go-round, and we really, really need to find a way of getting through it, because I don't want to see us start to slip off because of that. But it's always a worry. Newcastle fans, if you've liked this video, let us know your thoughts from what you took from Wednesday going into Wolves on Saturday. Please stay positive. Do not allow yourselves to get too down because we lost 1-0 to Dortmund.